Hi guys! Young and the Restless tells us that Billy will eventually manage to get out of prison again, but not right away. Billy will have a period of imprisonment where Y&R spoilers say he will ponder his life and think about the consequences of many times he spoiled his family and friends. But something else will happen to Billy while he's in prison. He's going to get a visit from Victor, who will be glad that Billy is finally punished after all he did. Billy fumes with Victor. "I'm glad you're where you deserve to be," Victor said. "You think you have a future. It's right here. You did a lot of damage. You have hurt my daughter. You are hurting my nephew," Victor told Billy, noting that Billy is right where he deserves to be. Of course, we should point out that just because Victor was gloating doesn't mean he was necessarily the one who staged Billy. Sure, Victor was happy to see Billy behind bars, but someone else, like Alyssa himself, could have easily ensnared Billy. It is not too stressful to think that Alyssa might have stolen Billy's gun from the Victoria Newman's house and committed this crime. Either way, it seems Billy is getting convinced, at least for the moment, that Victor is behind his staging. We'll see any instructions for Billy and Lily next week as they continue to investigate this case. Something tells us there was a turning point. The new Y&R for the 14th week of December has come out, and it's all about Victor's cheerful festival as he scolds Billy and tells him he's in the right place where he deserves to be, wearing a set orange jumpsuits in prison. According to Y&R, Billy and Lily Winters will find secret witnesses. The secret could bring Billy into the scene of the shooting of Chance Chancellor, and that witness would be everyone's Alyssa Montalvo. That would shock Billy, as he would think he and Alyssa were on the same side and went head-to-head with Adam Newman. Unfortunately for Billy, Ray Razales will show up when Billy is trying to talk to Alyssa, and that will lead to Billy being arrested for breaching bail terms since the beginning. Either way, it looks like we're going through an exciting week, so stay tuned for Y&R. The Y&R channel is your first source for all of Young and the Restless's latest breaking news and updates. We've got you covered. Thanks for your watching.
Nick told Phyllis they did the right thing to leave, but Phyllis grumbled that I'd rather slap Victoria. Nick realizes that Victoria has crossed the line, and Phyllis understands that his sister has fallen in love with her power. Nick commented that Victoria accepts the ruthlessness of Victor as well as his company. Phyllis trained herself to go to war, but she wondered if it was too late. Nick refuses to let her lose something that means so much to her. Nick advised not to fight in court, and Phyllis lamented that she could do nothing but abstain from the nefarious things she wanted to do, but only for him. Nick pushed her to swallow her pride and finally accepted his offer of financial aid. Phyllis insists she didn't want to take his money. He admired her desire to do it herself, but he argued that she needed the money to fight the weight and power of the Newman enterprise. Phyllis reiterated that Grand Phoenix was her coronation achievement, but that was only a one-piece number with Victoria. Nick thinks taking the cash is the best opportunity for Phyllis to keep the hotel, but she doesn't want them to end up together. Nick predicts that will only make them stronger, and it will prove to Victoria and everyone else that they're back together again. Phyllis was pleased, but she intended to pay it back every penny. Phyllis returned to the Victoria office to look at the value of the hotel, which had grown since Phyllis took over, and anticipate its annual growth. Victoria is disappointed that her decision is final, but Phyllis warns that the forecasts do not consider future disasters or competition. Phyllis offered to buy Victoria stock at a price 30% higher than the market value, noting that otherwise it would take Newman years to achieve that return. Phyllis urges Victoria to make the deal as a smart businesswoman that both know her. Victoria had considered how much cash Phyllis would make to make such an offer, and she surmised that Phyllis had rolled around and let Nick give it to her. Phyllis clarified that it was a loan. Victoria accepted the deal, but she taunted that it was her victory and not Phyllis, as Phyllis could never have pulled it out without Nick's help. Phyllis returned to the society and reported that Victoria had accepted the offer. Nick wondered why Phyllis wasn't looking happy, and she replied that she felt worse than before. He admitted it wasn't easy to accept help, but she saved her hotel. Phyllis replies that she doesn't do anything, and Victoria likes to throw in her face that she can't do it on her own. Entrepreneurs always have capital from a variety of sources, Nick argues, and it's just a loan. Nick walked into Phyllis's hotel suite. An angry Phyllis was on the phone, ordering someone to call a lawyer in, to keep someone away from something. Nick felt sorry for anyone who received the final message, but Phyllis muttered that it was just the messenger. Nick asked Victoria what she did that time, and Phyllis hinted that his sister was playing dirty. Phyllis insisted she had been a nice guy long enough, but she was about to get back on the road to show how cruel she could be. Phyllis explained that her sales manager had informed her that Victoria was working on a provision in a fine print of the Ponte Vecchio contract, prompting the forced acquisition of Phyllis ownership by negligence. Nick realized that Victoria was being dishonest when she said the conflict was over, and he swore he would be on Phyllis' side. Nick advised Phyllis to think better than hurry, but she moaned that she didn't have any ideas. He urged her to let him talk to Victoria. Phyllis reluctantly agreed, but she insisted on accompanying him. Nina greets Victoria at the Grand Phoenix Hall, and she explains that she decided to go around town to see Chance and Abby for the last time over dinner that evening. Nina says she fell in love with the hotel when she met Christine and Lauren there, and Victoria revealed that she owns the place. Nina questioned whether being Newman's CEO kept Victoria busy, and Victoria admitted that she had a co-owner to manage the hotel, at the time. Nina remembers that Victoria has always been an extremist, and she called Victoria the daughter of her father. Victoria notes that people talk a lot, but that doesn't always mean praise. Victoria credits Nina for helping her turn her into the woman she was before. When Victoria confided in Nina about the troubles of her marriage with Ryan, only knowing Nina had slept with him. Nina swore she looked back on those days with confusion and embarrassment. Victoria arrogantly claims that she has learned how to feel when people try to play her, so she can put an end to that and make sure they never overtake her again. Nina recalls that Victoria has always been a formidable opponent, and she didn't want to embarrass Victoria. Victoria asks them to make a covenant never to love the same man again, and Nina agrees. Victoria wished Phyllis felt the same way, and she shared that Phyllis was a minority stakeholder in the hotel, even though they didn't meet. Nina admits that Phyllis wasn't her favorite after everything Phyllis did to Christine, but she thinks it's time to let go of her grudge. Victoria complains that too many people have forgiven Phyllis for so many things, and she revealed she is in the process of settling their business dispute. Nina hopes everything will be successful, and Victoria prepares to return to the office. Nina plans to stay in Grand Phoenix next time she is in Genoa City, and Victoria will give discounts to her friends and family. Nina's smile vanished into a worried look as Victoria walked away. Lily and Billy went to Grand Phoenix, and she said the receptionist refused to give her the room number over the phone. Billy notes that the secretary is on vacation, and Lily jokes that she knows the hotel reservation system inside and out from her job at the athletic club. Billy suggested to keep an eye on the clerk while Lily took the information, and she hurried over to the computer terminal and got the room number. Billy likes to come to her room, even if that means risking bail. Lily was adamant about going alone, and she went into the elevator. Abby and Chance entered the hall, Billy hoping their honeymoon goes as they dreamed. Abby awkwardly replied that it had happened, and Billy repeated again offering to take them out to celebrate. Abby apologizes for not being able to ignore the fact that Billy has been charged with shooting Chance. Billy was surprised because she thought he was also guilty. Abby visits Lola. Lola observed that her friend was still on her bright honeymoon, and she was sorry she missed the wedding. Abby realizes that Lola is cooking for the event, and she talks about the ceremony and her outfit. Abby confided that she went through a period of stress. It was an attempt by the group to put her on the altar, but the oath was unsuccessful. Abby yelled that she had a perfect wedding with the perfect man, and she was strangely happy. Abby recounts that her dream honeymoon started like a nightmare. She and Chance did it for the best, and it has magic. Lola recalls her tropical honeymoon with Kyle, but she sadly added that the miracle didn't last long in their marriage. Abby recalls going through her own divorce, and she sees it as one of the reasons why she worries about going through the wedding. Abby says thoughtfully, when she looks Chance in the eye, she'll know everything will be different. Abby hopes that she and Chance will face challenges, starting with Billy being accused of shooting her husband. Lola said that Billy had been there earlier and didn't seem worried. Abby realized that creating a smug face to protect himself was the same as Billy. She didn't want to believe he was the shooter, however, she knew his hatred for Adam had deepened, and she wasn't sure if she could forgive him if he did. She hoped for everyone's sake that the shooter didn't have one of her 3 surnames. Keep updated with the latest news on the Y&R channel.